perfect. We're 5 minutes late because we have the doctor of procrastination in the house.
Oh, good. Let me see if I can. I actually had a little stand to hold this on. Now I can't find it. Of course.
Oh my God, so you're holding your computer?
Yeah, I
Okay,
have another thing to hold it like. I think it'll hold like this. There we go.
you
How's
look
that?
nice, Jean. Look at you.
Well, thank you. I tried to dress up a little. I mean, not dressed up, but dressed more like me. Like the inner me is really younger than my chronological age. And
Perfect.
this is so wonderful because I don't know where. Oh, there you go. It just fell. That's okay. I have
I
it
love you,
holding
Jean.
against something.
First of all, I got to give everybody an introduction. Okay, Jean is my friend for years, friend and fan. And she is magnificent. Jean, and I mean this with all the love in the world. I'm just like drill sergeant with you, Jean. Like
Yes.
you're a doctor. You have a doctorate in what we got? Procrastination and deflecting.
Oh, well, yeah. I just have a
so,
bachelor's,
so it's
just a
like
bachelor's degree in journalism, with a minor,
perfect.
and then a bunch of little tiny degrees from all these different acting schools in LA and different the School of Hard Knocks and all that stuff. But yes, well, it depends. Sometimes in life, I've just been a go getter and going to win, and then somehow something will happen, and just throw me completely off again. And then it's like,
Well,
oh
that's
my
what we're
God. You know
changing,
what I mean?
Jean.
Life has its way of just the all of a sudden we're doing great, and then something will just throw the ringer in. And then
I
all of a sudden
know.
we're back to one, like back when I did a little bit of extra work. Back to one to start over.
Back to
Crazy.
one. All right. Back to Jean. We're
Yeah.
breaking the patterns, and that's why I was like, I love you, and I'm like, okay, but I love the fact that you'll go off on all your stories. I personally think it's so funny, which is why I wanted to I call you Doctor of Deflecting because you're like, oh
Okay.
yeah, I'm feeling my emotions. I'm gonna tell you this other story, and I do the same things, Jean. So I don't say it as I don't mean to be mean ever. I'm like loving you,
Oh
but I'm
no,
just
I
like
just
Jean.
I knew when I realized you were joking, that was funny. I just want to make sure people know that I only have a bachelor's degree. I mean, I've done a lot of things beyond that. I got
I
insurance
only have a bachelor's.
licenses, and I'm in SAG-AFTRA. Well, actually, I'm owe them some money now again. But just all the stuff. Oh. But I've done a lot of things beyond my college degree. But lots of different classes and programs and all kinds of stuff, self-help books, tapes, I mean, even
Oh yeah.
programs to help heal myself. I did the little Brandon Base thing online, which really did help me. If I hadn't have done that, we might not even be able to do this.
Which
And
one
you're
was
so
it?
good about keeping people on task.
Which
You'd
one
be a
was it?
great principal of a school.
Which one was it?
You're great, like keeping people on task. You'd be a great principal of a school, because you keep.
Oh,
I
me.
guess you
I
are
thought you said
principal
you
of
took a
your own
course. I was
school.
like, oh, okay, cool. Hey,
Yeah,
we've been
because you
doing it on
keep people
Wednesdays.
you keep people on their task and everything. And
I hope so.
you gave me the courage, when I first saw you, and then slowly but surely to just open up, because I've tried everything else all my life. Of course, I'm older than you and all that, but what if I live to be, God willing, to 99, like my grandmother, one day short, and I still have to make a living. I'm here. I am moving from one apartment to hopefully another cheaper one. If I don't qualify for that, another cheap. It's like, and I've done better in life, but I mean, I've got to get it together, and I've tried to be what other people wanted me to be, or what I thought I should be, or, and you get to a point in your life where you just hit against the wall, and you go, you know what, you know, I'm over 60 now, and I'm not going to say whether I'm 61 or closer to 70. I think most people know. It wouldn't be hard to figure it out, or it's not rocket science to find that out anyway. So, but it's like, I've tried everything else. I can't like just do all that anymore. I mean, I have to do. Life is so short. You can't just like do that. Like my father used to say when he hated his work, he was like he was going back down to the dungeon, got to go work in the grindstone and down in the dungeon. Of course, that was why he was so weird and everything.
Well,
And
in the dun
his
he but
personality affected mine, and he used to yell at all of us and then take things out more on me, not just with that, but all the other stuff. We don't have to go into all the details, but
well, hold on just a
so
second.
what's that?
Hold on just a second. I love you. The doctor of deflecting. I love you. Uh, Go
Yeah.
back to your dad because your dad said he'd have to go into the dungeon, did you say?
Well,
And
he called it the basement. It's not like anything like that
not
weird. It's
creepy,
like
but the
just he had a little warehouse office, and then but they started out with the basement office where his little business, electrical business, and so he had a degree in engineering, so he had a basement office, and he worked in the basement office on his own, but then during the week they had employees that would come in. It was like a basement with a separate little driveway in our house here in Dallas, and um, so anyway, but he was always down there working. And then my mother chose because she was multitasking with the housework and everything. She'd be upstairs at the kitchen table, um, balancing all the books down to the penny so that he wouldn't yell at her and stuff. But when she got upset with him, she just like wore earplugs practically. Actually, she did sometimes tune him out. Or one time she did show me she wore some earplugs so she didn't have to listen to all his stuff.
okay,
So
so
she
then it
told
goes
me to
back.
quit listening to him, but I would go in there and listen to him or something. And that's how I guess, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time sometimes with him. But just like, uh, I don't know if this is a zinger, but um, I don't know. I guess I could say, I think we all maybe met the Weinsteins. I did meet him one time at a party and I got away from him. He'll go after anybody. And I was cuter then. I was in my 40s and I was slimmer, and I looked better. But I think one good thing, well, what I went through with my dad, it helped me get away all my life from men that I didn't want to be with. In fact, one positive thing, because uh, and sometimes it's hard to stand up for myself because I'm going to need a lot of help in here, but I'm not going to just because I'm short on everything, just to like be with someone to help me. But if it works out, I mean, I am do need a boyfriend, and I was in denial a long time about not having one. I used to have a boyfriend more one after the other, like most of us did when we were younger, you know and
I did
but
that.
then you kind of outgrow that because you realize I keep attracting the same guy with the same personality. And when I
Yeah,
was
what's
younger, I
yours?
had the same personality as my father. Some of them,
Yep.
mean. One minute a little bit charming and funny, but then a lot of times bossy, controlling, and punishing me and making me feel bad about myself. And when it gets to a point where you're more happy alone than with that person, then you really just need to, get a dog and a cat
Get
and
a
just let
dog.
them run your life. Like my dog
Well,
is so sweet, but my cat keeps me in line. He's more dominant. My cat is like the only narcissist in my life. See, you
you
know.
left. I have a question. Do
Yes.
you think, or do you see, or how do you see how all the effects of your household piles, okay, are directly related to your emotional things that you're holding on to with things that your
Yes,
dad said to you?
I think so because there's been times in my life when it's a lot better and I kind of have it together, and then all of a sudden, like the last few years. See, I had 3 years ago, or over 3 years ago, I had moved back to LA from Austin, and I got a new agent, and I was kind of on track to do some other, actors friendly jobs, whatever. And things were going. Then the pandemic hit. I had gone through all this healing grief from my brother Mark. He was he's special needs, and he passed from cancer in Austin, and I was grieving from him.
Oh, I'm
And then
sorry.
I had lost my cat, Oscar, and he was elderly, and then he passed a few days after that. I knew he was going to pass, but it was I had gone. up here to the funeral. I mean, well, actually, we had the funeral in Austin, and then we had the burial here in Dallas. I had pet sitters, and then my cat passed, and then I was just a few days after that. I was at a school in Austin where they had a lockdown. Um, to get back, I am going to answer your question. I'm going to tie it together. I promise. I
Hey.
promise. So yeah, so basically there was a lockdown. They had to call in the SWAT team. There was a fatality, but see, all that stuff, the grief and everything, and then I had gotten over it, and I had been dealing. I'd gone through like the little brand online Brandon Bay's thing in Austin to work on this whole thing about my father, because and I did have a kind of like he wasn't really a boyfriend. He was like a friend that I had known, met when I lived in LA one time. I lived at one point out in Orange County and met this guy on Match.com, but we were just friends. And then he was breaking up from a girlfriend. So
Oh,
anyway,
Gene.
he encouraged me to work on this thing about my father. Okay, back to my dad. So he was encouraging me to work on that. And so I had done so much healing, so much healing. And then the thing with the grief from, my brother Mark passing of cancer, who I was close to, and then, of course, my cat and all that. And then I'd gone through, worked through all that stuff, and, I've been working on all this stuff all my life. I mean, I had worked on it when my dad
True.
passed, so 20 years ago. So when I go out to LA and everything, and I was really kind of on a roll again. Things were starting to happen for me. And then the pandemic, it's always something, like Gilda Radner used to say, it's always something. And so
Hey,
that
hold
just
on. I got
kind
to
of
interject
set
here a
me
little bit.
back. So
Hey, Gene.
then
Hey,
I
Gene.
let people talk me into coming back here. See, so that's.
Hey, Gene.
But I
I just
do
want to,
think what's that?
Jane,
Yes,
I do want to throw in here that the concept and the thing where there constantly is something, there's always something, there's always some drama, there's always something, is
right.
also connected to being in survival mode.
I think
It's
you're
like it
right. And
attracts it.
yeah, and the stuff got worse. Like when they brought it all back here from California, I moved it out there and shipped it back, and then I'd get rid of stuff and then get more stuff. But the worse I feel inside, the more it reflects outward here in
That's
my
where we're
place.
getting at, Gene.
Yes,
That's
because
where we're
I was
going.
kind of like, but you know what? On the other hand, it's like I may appear to be worse to other people, but ironically enough, I'm doing my own healing
You're seeing it,
and I'm
right?
becoming me because I'm tired of living up to everyone else's expectations because I have had so many, not just boyfriends, but friends and family that expected me to be a certain way. And it's all about conditional love. I was raised to have conditional love versus unconditional love. I think when I went to counseling and everything, he was wonderful. He saw me on a sliding scale and said, really the only real unconditional person you really had in your life was your grandmother and sometimes your mom, but mostly your grandmother, and she was more unconditional. I mean, sometimes she could be conditional. We're all conditional to an extent, but I didn't really get that unconditional safe place to fall, like Dr. Phil always talks about. But the safe place to fall in our family for me, and I think for my brothers too, they're so, trying to be so stoic and most one of them stayed out of everything and locked himself in his room and went to law school and
I
said,
love
he's the only big success story in our family. The other brother did okay though. He married and he got divorced and all that. But the bottom line is has children, beautiful children, and grandchildren, by the way, which I don't have any of that. So any of those kids. But basically, yeah. So it's like my father just like did that and then to us, and then. But when my father would go, he traveled a lot for business. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Praise the Lord. He traveled for business a lot, and my mom and I would have fun. My mom would take me out to eat or take me to go buy a dress or would go do something fun. And she would let me even sometimes do my homework watching TV or something or stay up later she was still pretty strict, but not as strict as he was. And then, but sometimes when he was home And I think all my friends at the time sort of sensed something was odd. If it wasn't the other thing that he was trying to, be inappropriate with me, to, put it mildly, it was just his thing, just constantly wanting to berate me. Sometimes he wouldn't talk to me for days. Or, even
It's the
one
worst.
time we went a long time without talking. Just took all his anger out on me. I apparently have reminded him of a sister he did not like. But I would get to go stay with friends, and that was really fun. And I think they knew, and but one even lived down the street from me, and we were
Yep.
on the drill team together, and that was nice because then I'd get to go stay with friends and have fun and kind of be part of their family, and everybody seemed to love me, and people like me, and
You're
and I
likable,
think
Gene.
everybody does like me except certain people, and that was another thing. I thought about this last night when we were going to have this discussion. Um, and this is something I need to work on in life, and maybe a lot of people do. That if anybody's listening, I think we are having people
Ain't
listening.
nobody
But
listening. We're
anyway,
fine.
so what we need to work on is quit going around people because it's the rejecting father, like the rejecting person. They did things to me and all this stuff. Just be around people that love us and like us. And if we can't find that, just be around ourselves, our pets, or things we like to do.
There you
Because
go,
for
Gene.
years and years, I used to just gravitate towards situations, whether in the workplace or areas like maybe I've outgrown this apartment. Maybe that's why I'm having these problems and trying to move and all this. It's like sometimes in life we outgrow, maybe neighborhoods or situations, friends, people, you
Things you're doing
know,
to
um,
yourself.
yeah, we outgrow everything. We just outgrow it. But I still, this whole thing with my dad, it's like that's why I create the maybe keep going back to rejecting people, trying to
Hello.
recreate that connection, the abuse that I had with my father, and then maybe this time that person will turn around and be nicer to me. And I have done that with friends too, some women friends that, and I quit doing that. It's like dominant, controlling, mean, people that find fault with me all the time. And
Well,
I
yeah, you
had
put
enough
them.
of that. I had that all my life. I mean, with my dad, why would I? And what it was like a masochistic thing on my part to
There you
repeat all
go.
that stuff.
It's
So
like you're
yeah,
making an agreement.
I
Hey,
know.
Gene,
I'm sorry. I
listen.
just go on and on. I'm like a just.
That's what if you
I
just turn you on and you just.
I know, and you're
Like
so. I know. I
that's what I
know.
love
So
about
I'm
you,
going to
actually.
listen to your expert viewpoints now. I would
Well,
like to hear.
listen, you look different. I want to acknowledge you. You look different than you have been for the past couple months because we have been privately and now we're openly talking about how piles in our lives also
Yes.
equal your emotional piles. Am I right? And so then
Yes.
as we start cleaning up our life and start small and don't judge yourself, that's the
Right.
thing, because we're experts at beating our own selves up and getting people to
Right.
beat ourselves up and agree with your crazy raised by wolves parents. But we got
Right.
the wrong textbook, Gene. You've just been studying the wrong textbook. That's all. Just like throw the book out. You know what I mean? And like relearn and relearn by
Yeah.
cleaning up your piles. And as you clean up a pile and take care of your own stuff, you're gonna run into the emotions. So just have a good cry. Just have
Yeah.
remember when we danced the other day and I
Right.
and I had my sword and you had your tennis racket?
Right.
Just the movement of that while you're dressing a pile, stop, put on some music and just, oh yeah, well, it could help the rage, anger and sadness because it's all the same. Just get out of your body, you know?
Well, yeah.
So what if
Right
you're
now I'm sort of upset because I don't know what I'm going to do, but I do know. I mean, it's okay. I've been through all that before. Uh, but
you don't know what's going to
usually
happen
I'm
because
no
it's a
so
totally
sure
new
what.
reality, Gene. You don't know what's going to happen because it's totally new reality because nobody taught you how to take care of yourself. Nobody taught us this when we come from abuse. You know what I mean? We didn't get the right textbook. And I'm just
Right.
giving you some kudos to you. You really do look different. There's color in your face more. You didn't wear a sweatshirt today, covering up.
Yeah, I know. I
You
decided to,
hey
you know,
Gene. Like
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Actually, I
and
think I'm gonna have to plug the phone in a second, but we can still keep it going. I don't want. I charged my phone. I thought enough. I just don't want it to go down while you're talking.
oh,
I think we just
there's
have
always tech
something.
issues too, Jean.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
all
my
related.
my sprained knee is a lot better too. And
Well, I just wanted to give you the kudos because it shows up when you start like uncovering and like uncovering the piles and all, and the emotional stuff. Yeah, it's hard, and yeah, you uncover some nasty stuff, but it's totally worth it, and it's not as scary as it was. Am I right? Like you're actually finding stuff. Didn't you say you found something that you wrote that was great?
well, yeah, I found some scripts ideas if you even want to talk about those, or then I found some books that we can bring up in a minute, or I found some books that I got on all this healing stuff that are really good.
Are you
So
plugging
I
yourself
hope
in
that's
now?
like that. But but
She's plugging
yeah, but
herself
you know
in.
what I've done, I told you when I've always liked to move in life. Like right now I'm in a kind of financial thing where I might need to move just because of financial mess, but I can figure it out. And if I have to stay in a motel with my pets for a couple days while I get approved on the other place, whatever it takes. I mean, there's tons of places around here, and a lot of them are a lot cheaper than this place. They used to be cheaper here, but they went way up in this neighborhood. Whatever, it's just a trendy thing. So it's probably part of that what they call it, gentrification stuff. They were doing that in Austin too. In fact, one of the places I lived in Austin that was so fun, I was looking on the internet, and now they said that we're talking about drinking tap water with your friend Sean Thursday night. They
Oh yeah,
said at
don't
the
drink tap
kitchen
water,
sink
girl.
they had sewer water coming out of their faucet in the sink. So
I
that
just
was
had
after I moved out, you know. But yeah, I get on all these subjects. But yeah, so I'll let you take the lead again before I go off on some kind of rampage.
That's what I love about you, Jean. Is it's like you'll just start talking and talking and talking, and it's deflecting from emotion usually. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like
it is. I think because I
something
when we
emotional
get
comes up,
into
and you're like,
yeah, you're right. It's the clutter. It's like why I think that's another reason why on a subconscious level, a lot of times I've just had to move or different things. It's like a restless spirit in me, even
yay!
though I'm older. But I could when I put it all when
Hey,
I can
Christina.
go through it, get rid of stuff. But when I put it all in a box, all sealed up, I don't have to think about it. See what
Well,
I
it's
mean?
still
I
there
like
though.
that.
Hey,
I love that. I love it
Christina,
when it's
we are.
all in a box, sealed up, or like if I've moved and I don't have it with me at the moment, like the time back when I could afford to move to California or whatever. Right now, I just have to move close by. And
Hey,
but
Christina. This is the doctor of procrastination we're talking to here,
well,
and
yeah,
deflecting.
because when
Here
you
she
put it
is.
all in a box,
I love you,
or
Jean.
when I was younger, I'd put it all in the closet and close the door.
Didn't we
Like
all?
that way, you don't have to see it all the time. Because
My
I think
point
it's
is,
stressful. It is stressful to look at it.
it's all connected, Jean. It's all connected. That's the point. And Christina, hey, she says, I love you so much. She's 28 and used to watch me when I did Safe Side Super Chick. Hey, by the way,
Yay!
Christina, have you noticed? I'm not looking too bad. It's like what I looked like when I was Safe Side Super Chick. It's because I have been doing the healing work and it's showing
Yes,
up. I'm 51 now, and I think
yes,
in many ways I sort of look better than I did back then because I wasn't as healthy then as I am now, in
yes. You have a good
body, mind,
emotional
spirit. And what we're talking about
mindset.
today,
Yeah,
Christina, I've been doing for months now. I go, oh, thank you. We go live Wednesday mornings to, if you're on my email list, to clean up our shit together. So because we all, that's what Gene and I've been talking about, and it's like the piles in our life, wherever they are, whether it's your old taxes or whether it's your laundry or whether it's the box from your mom dying or whether it's your box of your dad's shit or whatever it is, like you've got some kind of stuff that you haven't dealt with in the pile selection is completely directly related to your emotions. And you know what? When you start cleaning those up and going to the next level, you're going to feel the emotions. It's usually sadness or anger and then needing some affection or like some cuddling. So I'm going to do a big event on 420. 420, big event, Gene, where we're going to go through this together too and like watch clips from my documentary again and just look at the anger outburst the crying, and then, like, let's all have a moment to, like, you get 30 minutes, like, breakout sessions to, like, have a space to lay it down, because that's it. It's crying, anger, and then nurturing. It's just like the sort of trauma, like when you've gotten wounded by something. Your dad was a jackass, although balanced, because you learned some good things from him and you were also abused from him, same as me. And that messes you up too. You're like, but wait, there
Well,
was
it
good and
does,
bad. So
but
it's
see,
like,
also because I'm Catholic, or maybe just because of the way I was raised,
also because I'm
I want to
Catholic.
make excuses for him, because I want to be. I went to a priest one time and we didn't talk about all that, but we talked about all his temper and all the scary stuff. I had to forgive him for myself. We have to forgive people for ourselves. But I think
We get to forgive, not
he
have
was
to forgive.
mentally off. I mean, I think he was a few eggs short of a dozen. I mean, who does stuff like that to his own daughter or tries to pretend like I'm his girlfriend? Or like when I was going to
The
college,
priest,
he would grab me and do all this. He wanted me to prepare me to how to get away from boys, and he would just. One of my friends said maybe that's why you had to go to the chiropractor some, but some of it's because I have a spinal curve too, the
oh
scoliosis,
my
you know,
God. Oh my
but
gosh.
yeah, but part of it's that or just stress but it's also he, all that it made me have all that stuff about money. He was always like yelling
There you
about
go.
money and turn off all the lights and everything. We'd have occasionally my mother would pick the nicer meal or something, then he'd have to lecture us the whole time about how lucky we are and enjoy
It's,
it. By then you've all got kind of indigestion and you're not really relaxed and it's
it's
like,
all
I think
connected,
a
Gene.
lot of that is why I have the food problem. Of course, he used to try to tip me. He groomed me by giving me some ice cream, sneaking into the kitchen. Say, if you come in here while I watch the golf, I'll give you some ice cream. And then, of course, that would give him liberties to try some things. It was all kind of a sneaky thing. It was a grooming. It's he said that he didn't have time to go get a girlfriend and that he traveled a lot but it's kind of sad really when you think of somebody like that you know um I don't blame myself anymore at all because I was just a little kid. And then
Good for
as I
you.
got into college, and then he tried something when I was in college when he came to pick me up at University of Missouri.
Oh,
Um, he said something because I actually ended up going to North Texas. I wanted to go to UT Austin anyway. I ended up there for journalism school, but then you can't get into the journalism school till your junior year. So I thought, well, might as well come back. And up there,
and
I
he,
couldn't have a car, and if I came back, I was able to get this old little used car. So, but anyway, he tried something up there. Said, "Oh well, they only have one room." But I think a lot of it, he was so tight with his money that, you know what I mean. That was part of his plan
but he
because
tried
he
to get,
gave me
oh
some
God.
pills because I had some anxiety pills. Well, they were sleeping something to relax me in my senior in high school, but I think that's because of something that I was going through with him. And
Well, yeah,
then he brought those to me. He said, "Your mother said you should have these," which is total bullshit because he just found them and brought them to me. And then he plowed me with a bunch of booze, took me out to eat and let me have whatever I wanted. And at the time, I looked so good. I had lost some weight. I was looking really good. I mean, there was times I tried to put some pictures of myself up on Instagram, but I mean, when I was younger and like in high school, I did the lead dance for Brigadoon, and I did a lot of dancing, and I weighed like 115 a lot, and then I was on the drill team in high school, but finally after my mom passed, we went to breakfast one time, and he said, "Well, you just look so good, I couldn't help myself to try to do all that and try to." And I think sometimes I think I was able to successfully push him away a lot, and you don't come to a lot of terms with that, as you know, until sometimes when that person passes. But that was probably another reason I had kind of injured myself, to try to get away from him some. And I was pretty strong. He said to me too, he said, "Well, you were really strong." And I knew that that's what he meant, to get away from him, to keep further damage or anything. I think I always protected myself from a lot, but there were some things that did happen that were really not good.
and now do
And
you think
I
that
have memories of it. and I have memories. And it was just such an impressionable time with me
Well,
being at
yeah.
college and starting to date. And I was a virgin, and then some guy said, "Well, no, you really weren't a virgin," and all that stuff. And so I started to connect all the dots. Like, it's sometimes we're in denial, and that's why I don't like all this stuff with the news and everybody denial a lot about stuff. It's and if that makes people uncomfortable, too bad, because you know what? I'm a very tough woman and I've been through a lot of shit in my life. And
Yeah,
I
you have.
have overcome so many things. You
Yes,
saw
you
my
did.
resume. I've done all kinds of different things. I've managed a newspaper office. I used to be a reporter, editor, all these small papers. I've interviewed some important people. I went out to Hollywood and tried to make it in my late 40s doing all that. I still do that. I do self taping auditions. I mean, I have fun with it. So what if I never make the big time in that? Who cares? You know what? That doesn't make those people any better than us. I mean, just because somebody has a lot of money, I mean, it's great though. And I have done better in my life. When I sold insurance, sometimes I had some better customers, and then when they dropped me
I
to
love you,
like a
Jean.
lot of times to go back and do something else, I didn't have the customer.
And
But
you're funny.
well, thank you. Yeah, you know what? A lot of stuff in life, I used to be so funny, and all this stuff that's happened to me is taken away by sense of humor. I think, after I lost my mom to cancer, I helped her fight it for 11 years. My brothers were not around. I did all this stuff by myself. I sold insurance and took her all over to the
Yeah, you
doctor and
did,
the
Jean.
hospitals and the took her everywhere. It's kind of like I've done everything. I've been a good friend to a lot of people, and then when I start standing up for myself, a lot of people don't like it anymore
So what?
and call me being selfish
Yes. Good for you. Congratulations.
because it's my life, and I don't want to wake up one day and I mean, I hope I do wake up at 90 something. God knows how I'm going to make a living, but I've got a lot of talents and
Hey,
I can
Jean.
do it.
Hey, Jean. You
Yes.
think during your time of abuse that there were moments with God with you?
Yeah, I do. I do think
Okay.
he had to
So,
be because that time when my father, I started breaking down in the car when we were coming back from Missouri with my dad, and I was crying and screaming. I was so mad at him, and he said, "Well, don't you ever tell anybody." Well, I waited till 20 years after he passed away to tell most people. So I mean, I waited till let's see, yeah, 20. Well, no, wait. I told a few people like within a year or two after he passed away. In fact, I told one brother about it, and then he always kind of suspected something anyway. So because they used to watch golf together a lot
I
and
love you,
stuff.
Jean. So, hold
But I'm
on.
just saying that he saw some things. But I'm just saying that I waited to really 20 years after my father passed to really start sharing
Yeah,
things
you
with
did.
people. And
But I want to put
I
something
was
in your
very
brain.
respectful for our family. And I actually took the high road. I took the damn fucking high road in my family and in life. I've done it with customers. People have asked me all my life. I could have sued this company and that company, that, but who needs the aggravation? It's like I'm kind of like my domesticated feral cat. I know how to pick my battles. I'm a very smart woman. My IQ is like 152. And I know for a fact that one reason that I haven't gotten a lot of jobs is because I know too much and I'm too smart. And I'm a very sweet person. I will not do this in your office. I will not break. This is my time. This is my time. I'm on your channel. You asked me to come and share with you. And when I have shared some things on my channel too, very milk and toast. I'm very sweet, but I have, you know, kind of gotten a little upset. But I mean, but this is how people get healthy. You're right. You can't just do your whole life for other people. God put me here for a reason, you know, and I have to do what I feel is right.
Yes, Jean.
And
And
I have done
David,
my best in life, and I'm sorry if other people are not happy or if I trigger their demons. That's their problem. Don't put that on me.
amen.
Boundaries. Boundaries, people. I'm self contained. I have learned to be from an empath and abused
I
to
love
being
you.
self contained. I'm a self contained person. Yeah, because I was going to show you this one book. Um, I think my phone is charged enough. we
And
can
I
go
want to
out
tell you
here again.
something as you're walking. Listen,
Yeah, because let me show you. You probably have a lot of these books. I
Gene, I
found
love you. I want to tell something to you. Ready? First of all, David says you should be proud of everything you've done, which is
who
true.
said,
David.
"Oh, hi, David."
So I
He's
want
such a
to say
fun
something
person
to
with
you.
that farm and everything.
Yes.
That's so cool.
So I want to say something to you, Gene. Remember, like
Yes,
the people that are you're elevating away from, and like you're waking, and they were claiming that you're being selfish. I just want to put it in your brain that back when you were young, there were times where you were saved and you were given still protection and still comfort with God, correct?
yes,
So
yes,
that is self and God. You are connected.
yes,
God is within you. So when you're being
yes.
selfish, you're being connected to God. If you look at it like that, like so when
Oh,
somebody
right,
says you're
right.
so selfish, then you like thank you. If the self in me is God, so let me go be selfish. So if that helps you look at being selfish as actually that's what you should be doing,
Right.
like it's connecting with your connection with God, and then it all falls. And then when you're connected with your connection with your spirit and your enlightenment, other people are either going to come into you and want to be near you, or they're going to repel because they don't want to look at their own stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all it is we all have our own
yeah,
piles of crap. And it's like, I mean, we can help each other with our own piles of crap, or somebody, or you're dealing with your pile of crap, and it can bring up
yes.
something for somebody else that doesn't want to look at their own
Well,
shit. And then
yeah,
they'll
and
get
I
mad
have
at you.
studied this. Yeah, and you probably already know this that when you bottle up stuff too much, it can cause cancer. If you
Exactly.
allow other people to trigger you too much and get like, not like we had more like a catharsis, but like when you're always like getting your people are getting your Irish up or your temper up or whatever, that causes heart disease. You can't let people phase you. But on the other hand, you can't bottle all that crap up. And I wondered if, my mother had just bottled up so much in life,
Well,
with
she's
the way
also
she
putting
was
in
raised and my
earplugs.
dad and everything that could have been why she got cancer. I don't know. But and then she would like just follow his lead on stuff. And she knew that I did everything for her. I dropped everything. I wanted to move to a newspaper job out in West Texas and get back into that business out of insurance at one point, and she wouldn't let me, but that's okay. I mean, she was a lot easier. She was very easy to get along with as a rule, but one time she called me selfish, which I wasn't. She was just mad. She was not feeling well. My mother was, and then she said one time she wished she'd never had me, but she said that because she didn't feel well. She was very sick from cancer, and she'd put up with a lot from my father, and they painted this perfect picture for everybody, but they did have a good marriage actually. And they did a lot for each other. I mean, my father did do a lot for my brother Mark. Here's Mark, if you can see him.
Oh, he's
He
the
was
one that
a
passed away.
special
I'm so
needs.
sorry.
He had epilepsy and tubular fibrosis on his face that was on his brain, and but he did have jobs and everything, and he used to get letters from Tom Landry and write him, and but it was always just like go with ball, please win. My mother and I used to have to edit the letters, but my parents did a lot for Mark, and that was a big thing. Mark had a bad temper, but a lot of times he was just copying my father.
Yeah.
My brother Mark would have big meltdowns and copy. So my parents had a lot of pressure, and they had a business, and I think I was kind of like just the scapegoat, for my brothers too. I was like the little sister. There she is, and they didn't even want to go to my recital, and then we had to go to their ball games, and I mean,
Oh.
but I know now why my dad was uncomfortable going to all my dance recitals and everything because it made him too. He got worked up by it. He was so attracted to me. I mean, even when I was a young child, he'd say he was going to marry me and all this stuff, and just
Now,
kind of
Gene,
crazy.
have you
Yeah, and
made
he
the
had a salesman that actually did something with his daughter too. I think he was getting funny ideas, and
what the
there would
hell?
be movies
Hey,
on TV about that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't get away from it.
hey, Gene.
Yes.
Gene, oh my God, this is gonna be like my God. Have you made the connection with your weight and keeping your father away?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
because many times you
yes.
can once you make the connection to it, then it'll start going away.
Oh, yeah,
Just like
because that one time when I got so slim and so pretty that, in college, because 'cause I'd put some weight on in college, the freshman whatever, telling
right,
you
and
we're
then he
pretty,
like
and then during I had 2 roommates that year because 2 were getting engaged and they had moved away, so both were on diets. So they always had me on their diets, which was great because my mother used to have me on diets, and I would look really great for a while, and then but then I think because of what I was going through with my father, then it would somehow go back on, and he would try to, you know, tempt me with food to, like as a kind of like enticing thing to get, whatever,
he was
to do
grooming
his
you.
little program. But yeah, so I had lost so much weight and then looked really good. And then when he came up that one time, he even said, "You look so good." That's when he really tried to make the big moves on me, the bigger moves, whatever, and was real creepy, and scary. And I was mad, and what
Right?
can
Have
you
you ever
do?
read to
I
be?
mean,
I mean, Gene, it's
yeah,
infuriating behavior. You know what I mean? It's
it's what?
infuriating behavior.
Would you say infuriating?
It's infuriating behavior for a
Right.
human male father to try and also do great grape his daughter. It's infuriating.
Well, yeah, and he
I
tried
mean,
to break my spirit a lot too.
well,
And when
yeah,
I went
of
to
course.
therapy, he said it wasn't because later on I admitted all that stuff, and he said because even on the phone after my father had passed away, he said, "Well, actually, you don't really need to come in anymore because he's gone now, and I'm sorry." But because I had gone on and off for several years, and about a lot of different things. Uh, you know, because I had a fiance break up and then a marriage that broke up. Different things. I had a fiance at one point, then he was kind of abusive, and then an abusive ex-husband that did things and
They were
got
all like
away
your
from
dad.
him. But yeah, but yeah,
Were they all like your dad?
he was an abusive alcoholic, and he like got mad and screamed to put cigarettes out of my legs and different things. He was just kind of goofy. I met him in the news business. He was an editor and I was a reporter. Then this
Ah,
other attorney I went with before that had a bad temper. He was really bad temper too. But they both had good qualities too. They just didn't work on themselves. But yeah, what this therapist had said, um, the biggest abuse that my dad did, it wasn't so much all this like trying to the quote unquote sexual or physical type abuse. I mean, he even tried to spank me real bad one time when I was like 16, with the belt and all this. I was too old for that. I think it was just like a weird thing for him.
a kinky turn
But
on for
the
him.
biggest thing was all this mental and emotional abuse. He
Yep.
said the worst thing your father did to you was not that was bad, any kind of physical or sexual abuse or creepiness, but it's the mental and emotional abuse. He'd always say, "I can just say something right now to make your head spin so fast." He was trying to make me tough. And at one point, my mother said she thought he was trying to make me like my brothers, which they just sort of learned. They actually learned to kind of distance themselves from him. They sort of took my mom's lead, what she used to do a lot,
Put
was get
earplugs
away
in.
from him. But I was took a little bit. Actually, I took most after my grandmother's personality, a little more extroverted, a little more, not afraid to share stuff, and I remember one time I went over to her house and he just didn't speak to me for a long time. In fact, that finally we went to a point when I was in my 20s where he and I didn't speak or see each other either, I guess, for about, I want to say 3 years. We didn't even speak or see each other. And we did have to occasionally get together for family get togethers, like for holidays. We would just like ignore each other. Like, kind of like if you have a boss or somebody that you just and finally I had gone to some healing things and talked to some friends and talked to a priest, and actually decided to take the high road even then. One time I called him in my 20s and just started talking to him on the phone, and he started talking to me, and I did all the work. Once again, I had gone back into therapy and done, I didn't actually do all that, any of that real therapy stuff though till my 20s, see. And but yeah, so I actually, you just made me realize that. I mean, I was thinking that I actually do take the high road with people.
That's good, Jean.
I really
Just
do.
as long
I
as you're
really do.
not.
99.9% of the time, other people probably don't see it that way. People try to put stuff on me, controlling your fault. This is you. This is, like that one friend said, whatever, it's just like it, a lot of it goes back to um, things that we go through.
Of
And
course.
yeah, it's not
Of
all
course.
just, I mean, yes, diet and maybe some things where some people have a little bit of attention deficit or have this or that or the
Just
diet.
like,
But all that really, like you say, a lot of it is because of what you went through.
yeah. And Jean,
And
like,
maybe God wants us to go through this stuff to heal others, like,
well, I
um,
wouldn't say once. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes we get to go through experiences. Like, I don't know if we're, you know, I understand the belief, and I do tend to believe everything happens for a reason. But then I also understand the people who get real problem with that. Everything happens for a reason, because it's like, oh my God, you're saying that I went through that pain intention. So it's like,
yeah,
it's a fine
I do
line. So I
too.
understand all
Yeah,
the
all the
layers of
thing
that.
about bad, yes, I
But
agree with you because some
so it's
people
like,
say, "Oh, that's
uh,
karma. This you're having bad stuff happen to you right now. That's because you were did this." No, I've been a nice person all my life. In fact,
yeah,
most of my life
that's the
I've been an
point.
effing doormat to everybody.
That's the
So that
point.
just does not. Yeah, I totally 100% agree with you on that.
That's the point.
Totally,
Okay. So when you start
totally.
looking at the doormat factor, and then you start looking
Yes,
at the piles in your life and the issues that
yes,
you're, and we are cleaning it up together, there's going
yes,
to be like some pile or something or some whatever the hell you uncover that's going to trigger a whole bunch of old crap. And that's
right,
a fears and doubts and worries, and that's the opportunity to just have a good cry and a good rage about it. Stick your face in your clothing and scream, like in the scream closet. Have when you're cleaning up the piles, do what we did the other day. And I've got my sword, and you've got your racket, and like literally your tennis racket, and just move your body. Like, you move it out of your body. Even if you
right,
look like an idiot, we've already looked like an idiot everywhere, Gene.
right, right.
Walking around life as a victim, you look like an idiot too. So you
Well, I
might as well,
know.
like, ah, like,
If you see my resume,
I know you have.
then you can kind of just get away or but I've always, you
The
know,
important
but yeah,
takeaway,
it's a way to
listen, Gene,
um not deal with
Gene,
it, like to look at it and then but what it does too is reminds me of all the different things that I can't decide on. Am I going to still do this now? Am I going to do that? Or am I going to pursue this? Am
categorize
I
it.
Yeah,
Categorize it.
that's a big one where do I really need to give this away or still work on this? Or, a lot of it is, uh, or like save it, like it's like save it for a rainy day or, if the world comes to an end, I need that. But if the world comes to an end, I'm not going to be able to, I just sprained my knee 2 weeks ago. I can't carry all this shit out the
The
door. I mean,
key,
I've got to
listen,
get a hold of
Gene,
some guys. Yeah,
Gene, the key takeaway for cleaning up your piles is discovering you.
yeah,
Like, you start, like, your face is clear, like got some color to it. You're dressing differently. You're gonna, like, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, you see that you were given the wrong textbook, right? We were all given the wrong
right,
textbook, who were abused.
right.
All the lies that you've been told are lies. So you get to rewrite the story, not staying stuck anymore. Because it's like, okay, now that you've had the awareness that it is all attached to back, all of the negative thought patterns from raised by wolves. Now it's up to you, girl.
I love that. I love that. I was raised by wolves. I
I
like
mean, yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah.
In sheep's clothing. That was my father's favorite expression. Be careful. There's a lot of people out there, wolves in sheep's clothing out there. And he was trying
Talking about
to
himself.
he was actually thought he was protecting me from all of them by showing me the ropes.
Oh
Showing
God.
me how to deal with him, then it would help me
Thanks,
with
Dad.
that, and how not to ever trust anybody, you know? He said, "If I told y'all to get on the roof and jump off, would you do it?" And a lot of us had to think about it a while because we were so scared of him, you know, and then we thought, "No, we wouldn't," you know?
Oh
But,
my God. So
yeah, he was
Gene,
just he thought he was in his own crazy mind, he thought he was helping me, Angela, when he was doing this
you
stuff or
know, my
grabbing
dad
me
did
and
the
doing,
same stuff.
weird. What?
My dad did the same stuff. Even in the courts, he said that it was sexual education in the home. He was like teaching us to
That's good, that's
teaching
funny.
us how to have
That's
sex. I mean, he was
that's
teaching me
funny.
how to do this,
That's
and I mean,
I mean, I find it comical now, I hope
thanks.
you don't. Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Dad,
cute.
for the education. And my point to me and you
God.
and the rest of us watching is get rid of the incorrect education. That you're a piece of
Yeah.
crap, that you're worth nothing, that you're that is
Yeah.
kept in our piles, you know? So it's like, so we
Yeah, he
have
used
to
to
write a
say
new
all that to me
textbook.
too. When when I was 12 years old, he would say stuff like, "Well, you're too selfish to ever get married." I would be 12 years old. He said, "You'll never find a husband. You're too selfish. You'll never be like your mother." Oh, all the stuff. Just
What did you learn that
crazy stuff.
selfish
But
means
those tapes,
today?
that's what I when I went to counseling, he said, "You've got to learn how to turn those tapes off." And I have,
Yes.
but it's hard. They come back. And I know they're not true, but it's
The
still.
practice is to to stop them happening, and in it watch how it shows up in your life when you start addressing a pile, when you start pulling out your book again and start writing your book or an article. That's also when the old, like, who are you doing this, that it just needs to, like, you need to keep removing those negative thought patterns and go boldly forward into writing your own story because you got the wrong textbook.
Well, another thing I just thought of, it's I and another way I deal it, as oftentimes, believe it or not, talking to people about things I need to talk to. I've gotten better the last few years, and especially the last month or so, even better. They say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and you're like my teacher right now. And I've had different teachers, help me in but in books and stuff. But it's like now I'm not afraid to call people out on their BS. I mean, I'll or talk to people like if I need to talk to the apartment I want to move into that I've applied for, or the place here to work out my exit strategy, to work out like sometimes I've just like done like avoidant, like or with friends. Like I called out that friend on the phone. She started in with that stuff. I've known her for decades, and she just started in and blaming me and complaining about something I did or said 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Well, I am no longer. Anyway, so I said, you know what? I said, we have such a toxic friendship. I said, at
Oh,
times. But now we're still friends, but I think, but not as much because she does that with all her other friends.
oh.
Uh, and I had to even take her off my Facebook page. She's not on my Facebook page, but
Sometimes you gotta do that, Gene.
yeah,
Uh,
it's like, but I've had that with a lot of, I mean, as I grow and change, and a lot of it, not just in the entertainment business, but in other businesses or in dating with people, like we were talking about the other day, when I really found a guy I really was most interested in, I wouldn't like talk to him as much. A lot of men think I'm interested or attracted to him just because I'm comfortable talking to them. But the reason I'm so
welcome to
comfortable
my life.
talking to them is because I'm sorry, I'm not attracted to him. But if I'm real attracted to a guy, then I'm totally, like, different, it's
Oh
hard for
God, I'm the
me,
worst.
and
I
I
show up
do
at
the
your
same
house.
thing with work and jobs and pursuits and things I want in life, because when something I really want something, it's hard for me to approach it, but see, now we're uncovering this stuff, and it's starting to just come out. And like I said last night, I thought, and I did bring it up about that the expression God's sometimes God's protection, God's rejection is God's protection. That expression, but about quit beating myself against the wall, or like they say, whatever, or
Exactly.
trying to get a dead horse to trying to get a dead beat or whatever. So it's
And
like
also,
we
Gene,
have to we have to like try to. to quit trying to go against the grain. I've often tried to yeah, just kind of be and be around people that and situations that I want. If I'm not somebody's cup of tea, that's fine because they're probably not mine either. And a lot of times these kind of people, I don't really like them as much as they probably think I do anyway. I'm just a very, very polite person. I'm a friendly person. I try to make peace with people.
I love
I'm
you.
always even walking my dog and all these people like the ones that had that big dog
And what
that
does selfish mean now?
what's that?
What does it mean when I say you're selfish?
You're looking out for yourself and I'm sorry. I'm going to take notes.
You don't know. Don't
I have a pen
like great
here
thing.
to take
So
some
when
notes.
you have a direct line to God or spirit, whatever you call it. I like the word God.
Right.
When you're connected to God and your spirit, that is being selfish and selfless. So when somebody
Oh,
says you're
okay.
selfish, that's a
Right.
compliment. It's
Right.
not that, and I don't
Well,
mean the
thank
ego
you.
self of like you're like I love my Instagram feed. More like
Right.
it's more like I thank you. I need to go be more selfish, meaning I need to go
Right.
be more selfish, like self connected, self connected with God, because you're gonna find all the
Well,
answers in there too. As you
yeah,
uncover
I
your
mean, if I'm
piles
living
too.
in a place like this, it's not being selfish. If the rent went up so much over the last 3 years, and I have a very small income right now, and if I don't have money to pay my other bills or to buy food for myself and my pets, and when you're in your 60s, I mean, I know I need to lose weight, but I can't starve to death. I can't go around like well, you probably since you were a model when you were younger, all these girls just when you're younger in your 20s, you can kind of do that though. Go 2 or 3 days without much food or longer. But when you get to be older, you've got to have some kind of food. You can't just not to live
Eat some
here. I
meat.
mean, if it was a different place or maybe I don't know, maybe worth it somehow,
Listen,
but
Gene.
but
Listen.
I'm trying to use that to make decisions, to think more of what
Okay.
I need to do.
Listen.
What?
I mailed you that workbook and I mailed
Yeah.
the planner and I also mailed you a regenerate sample. Do
Yay.
1 teaspoon, just a little bit, like start small, like half a teaspoon
Oh,
because it'll make
thank
you
you
hot.
so much.
That regenerate will get GABA to your brain really fast and it'll stop this.
Okay.
When you're like, oh, I have
You think I'll
47
have it by
tabs
the
open,
ninth? I
it'll
should have
it'll
it
hone it down
by
to like
April
2
8th.
tabs.
Yeah. I hope I have it by April 8th. You think I should?
I think it's getting there tomorrow, Monday. No,
Oh, you're
Monday.
so great.
So I think it's either
Oh
Monday
my
or
God,
Tuesday.
thank you so much. You're
Yeah,
you're
you're
an earth
welcome. So I
angel.
want you to I
You're
want
an
you to
earth
think.
angel, Angela. That's why your name is Angela because you're an angel. You
Well, we said
probably heard that before, right?
I heard
You're an angel.
Angela. Angela is a messenger from God. That's pretty cool. I
You
like that
are.
one.
But you do call people out on their bullshit and sometimes that needs to
That's also a
happen.
messenger of God. You know what I'm saying?
It is because you're right about me when I get on those. And I think that's a great idea to do with people. You got your drumsticks when they just go off, when you ask them a question and they're just like, woo, we're all over there. And it's like, oh my God, you need
Yeah.
to maybe
So we
even a
had an
bigger drum.
hour.
You need
Hey,
a
Gene.
cymbal to hit the cymbal, bang on the bing, bing, bang on the cymbal.
I love you. Part of
Oh,
me
you do
saying
have
on
one. Oh,
my
perfect.
thing has been 1 hour. So we had 1 hour and we talked about
Okay.
piles and we talked about the selfishness, like re-owning it. That all of those negative thought patterns and old emotions are also stuck in your piles. So that as you
Yeah,
start cleaning up your stuff, you're gonna
they
feel some
are.
stuff and wanna either it's like the whole addressing the hoarding stuff. Like it's all emotions. So I'm with you,
I
gal.
think
Wednesday
I
mornings we're
love you
cleaning up our
too. I
shit.
think some of it's still stuck in my body and stuff too,
Of course it
but that
is. Of course it is.
in my mind, my heart and all that, everything.
Yeah, same. And the thing is
But
don't
I'm
judge
letting
yourself
it
for
out.
it.
You're so awesome. So you don't think I was too over the top. I mean, I was just trying to tell you. I see
Gene,
I have to apologize for being like
no,
when I get real with
there's
people,
no
I feel like, oh
apology.
my God, like I'm back in elementary school with Sister Mary Holywater. Oh my God, now you have to go without your lunch and sit in the
Sister
corner
Mary
and
Holy Water.
not talk for 10 days and or my
Sister Mary
father,
Holy
that
Water.
women should be seen and not heard. I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? But you think I was okay? I wasn't. I was trying to make a point, right?
You're perfect, Jean.
Well, thank you.
You're perfect. You're finding yourself in your own chaos. I fucking love it. I love witnessing you. Because I see it. I see you, like, you're having these aha moments. And another huge aha moment I saw you witness, I witnessed you having, and then I gotta go, is when I was talking about shopping. The best thing about shopping is being approved.
Oh, right.
And
I,
and I,
'cause
and
I'm
I love
always
like
sitting there.
shopping that
Oh
says
my
you've been
God! Well,
approved.
well,
It's like,
now I know it won't go through because
yeah, so
I
then
don't
that's
use my
another,
charge cards right now. Yeah,
yeah, so
I'm waiting
approve
till I can,
yourself,
yeah, get a
approve
better
yourself
job and
as
pay
you
them off. Yeah,
find, and go slow. You don't have to go super fast. I mean, I certainly am like hustle mode. Let's go, 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 but
right.
gently go through your piles, because it's like we all
Yeah.
got it. I have it too. So, and I'm looking at my own stuff. Same, same. It's like, so we're all in this together as we rise collectively, and we rise together like water.
Yeah, this
And
is the
then,
timing is good for this because instead of just throwing everything in a box like I've done before, I mean, sometimes I have gone through, sort of sort through it as I go, take as much stuff to the dumpster and throw as much stuff or give as much stuff away instead
right?
of keep, like carrying that stuff, all over, moved it
Well,
to California, moved it back
that's
here, moved it
symbolic
there,
too.
moved it,
That's
in and
symbolic
out
too,
of the
Gene.
car,
Yeah.
just moving the shit around and not solving anything, right?
It's the
Just like I
same.
move all my little stories and my ramblings and my defense mechanisms, right? Right?
Yes.
Defense mechanisms.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great what you said. That's why I do that. I guess other people do that too when they get the rambling. That's
We
just
all
a
do it
defense mechanism, or a way to protect myself, right?
from just feeling. That's it.
Yeah,
Ding, ding, ding. So go feel
yeah,
something, Gene. I'm going to go pick up my
yeah.
mama and then get my daughter. And then I love you.
I love you too. You have a great day, Angela.
I'm
Awesome. God
proud of
bless
you.
you.
I'm
Happy
proud of you.
Easter.
And Dale says,
Happy
wish you much
Easter.
happiness, Gene.
What's that?
Dale says on here, wish you much happiness, Gene.
Oh, so much.
I've
I
seen it. It's
like
different.
that.
Your face looks
Yeah, and you can,
different. You feel
yeah.
different. It's like, yay. Yay, Gene.
Yay.
I love
Yay,
you.
great. I know.
We'll do
This
it
was so
again.
great. You helped me so much because when I'm on my channel, I'm so milk and toast. And so maybe I can be more expressive like you
Gene,
are and
you
do
are the
more.
not milk toast. You are so funny. You are so funny. Oh my God, you're
Well,
so
you
funny.
bring
So,
out the best in people. That's why you're a great director and everything. You're just a superwoman.
aw,
You're the
thank you.
superwoman of the world.
Well, hell, I still got to learn my
I
electric
wish you were
guitar.
running Hollywood.
Ha!
Or at least part of it. You probably don't want to run all of it. Who does? It's like no, who wants to really be president? But
I
only
don't
brave
want no,
people. But
like
yeah,
that.
but no, you're awesome, Angela. You're a great
This would be
helper
me
for
running
all of
that
us.
shit. Watch this. Pow!
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
I'm turning this off. I'm going to get my mom. I love you.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
We'll do it
Bye.
again.
Have a wonderful weekend for
Now what do we
Easter. Happy
do?
Easter. God bless y'all. Thank
I,
you.
mwah. Let's see if
Thank
we do it.
you.
All right, ready? I love you.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Love y'all.